Hey guys, welcome to the Traders Brawl podcast. A couple of weeks ago, I filmed an episode on the Venezuelan conflict with the U.S. I highly encourage you to watch it, but do take it with a pinch of salt and make sure you do your own research before watching it. It is still a developing story, but nevertheless, it was a great episode with Efe Tanay, and I hope you find it insightful. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Traders Brawl podcast. I'm Adel, your host. This is the podcast where we feature entrepreneurs, business leaders, money gurus, and even fitness freaks on the show. If you're new here, welcome. Today's guest is Efe Tanay, lawyer and founder at his own consultancy, Tanay Consulting, where he provides legal consultancy and business development services to different companies and organizations around the world. Efe, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. We met initially at Global Blockchain Congress.
Correct.
Back in, I think, 2023?
Yeah.
Or 2024?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around that time. And we maintained this bond of staying in touch.
Yeah.
And then
there was this AI
conference called Function One.
Correct.
And then since then, we stayed in touch, and now you're on the show. I love that.
Here we are.
I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself in your own words so that the audience can know more about you.
All right. So, my name is Efe. I'm from Turkey. I lived 10 plus years in Russia. I did a PhD in Russia. I'm a lawyer. I finished law school in Turkey and a master's degree in Turkey and two more universities in Russia. I lived in Italy for a while. I worked at a law firm in Italy as well. I speak fluent Italian, Russian, English. My Turkish is not bad either.
I'm sure.
So I traveled a lot. I am a little bit known person in Turkey as a traveler. Right. I've been to 77 countries. So I do a lot of social things as well. But of course, I am a lawyer. And also all those other things that I do are some side hobbies, but they're very serious things that I continue to keep on doing.
Right.
You mentioned about fitness. Actually, in a few days I'll be running the Dubai Marathon.
Wow.
I ran marathons before. I did fitness competitions, Ninja Warrior TV shows, all sorts of Spartan races. I was at the World Championships at the top levels so many times. So I am a very active person, and we will talk about politics a bit and international atmosphere that is going on right now nowadays. And I actually gave comments on to Russian, to Turkish news, to international media several times. Written on TV. You know, I connected live to Russian and Turkish TV channels and so on. So that's something I also used to do very often. Nowadays, on here and there. Yeah.
Very nice. Very good to hear. So, yes, today, this is an intense topic. This is episode 90. Today's topic is quite intense as we're going to be covering the whole fiasco between the U.S. and Venezuela. We're diving into the political unrest taking place right now, given the recent arrest of Nicolás Maduro, the ex-president of Venezuela, by U.S. military forces very aggressively. I'm going to read out some historical context before we get straight into it. So, Venezuela's conflict is not just about the halt of one leader or one election. It's the result of decades of political upheaval linked to foreign policy and the power that comes with a huge oil reserve. Equally, the arrest and airstrike actions by U.S. military have raised uncomfortable questions about power, resources, and the true motives behind such intervention. So to understand the whole U.S.-Venezuela conflict, we need to look back at the history. And I want to get your own standpoint on this, that it is my opinion, and the opinions of many others, that the U.S. is repeating Iraq on Venezuela. What do you think about that?
It's hard to compare these two because, first of all, in Iraq, actually, mass destruction. There was the weapons of mass destruction, and then even Bush himself made jokes about it. That, we couldn't find them, but whatever, who cares? Kind of. He said it actually. He made jokes about himself as well. And in this case, they're now claiming about the drugs and everything. But in reality, if you look at the numbers, actually, I just literally looked it up before I came here because I wanted to have the specific numbers. Not even 10% is claimed to, like, drugs that are coming from Latin America to US are actually not even 10% are coming from Venezuela. Statistically, this is US statistics, and even that 10% is actually not those deadly drugs that they claim that they're having. So in reality, it just doesn't fit to the scenario that they present to the media. So there is another reason, and let's be honest. We all know the reason. It's the money.
It's the money behind
it's
oil.
The control, exactly. So do we really think that this would have happened if Venezuela didn't
have oil?
Yes, simple as that, and rare earth minerals as well. Similar thing now. It's happening a week after that in Greenland. Like Rubio said it yesterday in front of cameras. If we don't take it, then Russia and China will take it. I mean, he literally said that, and Trump actually tweeted that as well, also on his Truth Social. He said it because when I heard it, I was driving on a radio. I heard it. I was like, this is a joke. Like I wouldn't think that actually a president saying such a thing. It's like I'll grab something, like you leave your phone here, I grab it and I say, bro, if I don't take it, someone else will take it. Like, but that does it give me the right to grab your phone and steal it or something? It's look. We talk about jurisdictions, we talk about who's right, who's wrong, but actually that those are wrong questions. Whoever has the power, whoever has the influence, gets to do what they want to do. Simple as that. Like U.S. has more influence, more power, financially stronger, better, militarily, without a doubt, the biggest power. Therefore, he can just jump into one other country, take the president, kill all the military personnel around him, and just take him out. Normally, you are not even allowed to do it to a random citizen of another country. Like, legally speaking, no country, as a lawyer, no country has any right upon another nation. Like, you cannot enforce your laws to another nation. There is Interpol for that. There are international regulations for that. You cannot just send your military or army or police force to another country and just grab a person. And in this case, it's the president of an elected president. Yes, they say it's not fairly elected, but I mean, let's be honest, there has been interventions in several dozens of different countries. Even today, they intervene and they put the person in power. And now it's like, okay, now fairly elected. No, it is not. It actually, the Ukrainian conflict has a similar beginning like this.
Because the Russians did invade Ukraine without, proper procedure. So out of NATO.
So it's not like Russians one day woke up and say, okay, let's invade our brother nation. So before that, they actually, there was a coup d'etat, which was orchestrated with the support of West. It is open information, by the way. Nobody is denying that, even from the U.S. side, because they were saying that openly, actually saying that we had to take Ukraine to our side, and they were very pro-Russian because they're literally coming from the same.
They used to be one.
Exactly, and therefore they're like they had to change things. Coup d'etat, put our president. Now we're against Russia, and Russia was like, well, now they're literally trying to take Ukraine into their military alliance, NATO, and they're putting the threat right next to our door. And Putin was like, I'm not going to allow that. It's right next door. My brother nation, which is controlled by one person that you put to the top, because that president decides everything. If we go 10 years back, 12 years back, 2014, when this was happening, if we ask to the general Ukrainian public, who knows, maybe 70-80% would be like pro-Russian, because they're so close. I'll continue answering your question, but people need to understand this. I'm sure majority of the people know that they're very close nations. Like, I speak fluent Russian. I did my PhD in Russia. When I hear Ukrainian, I understand 70% of or 80% of it, and almost every Ukrainian speaks Russian. They're Orthodox. Both are traditions, history. Historically, a lot of Ukrainians are living in Russia, vice versa. There were marriages. They're like almost the same nation. Literally, even till this day, even though the war has been going on for so many years now, still till this day, other parts of the world. Tell me if I'm wrong. People still say Ukrainian, Russian. It's the same. There is this thing, still. This is unfortunate. That's why I deliberately use the word brother nation. It's so sad for me to see that. I really feel so sorry. Right before the war started, I was in Ukraine for a sports competition, and before I went there, I was speaking to everyone in Russian. Without if you go to another country, if you want to speak in English, sometimes you feel like, do you speak English? You ask. But in Ukraine, you don't ask. You just speak Russian.
Right.
There's no chance that in a bigger cities, there's zero chance that the person won't speak Russian. Maybe some smaller villages, it will be hard for them, but still they would speak. My point here is, even that two nations that are this close, by just interfering and picking up the president, putting your own, you basically in few years' time, with the propaganda, with slowly step by step from 2014, this was the coup d'etat was at 2014, and then all the way to this conflict 2022 it started. So that was enough time, 8 years. And Merkel said it, by the way. We tried to gain time for Ukraine because they had to prepare Ukraine for this upcoming war. Why? It was orchestrated, planned. They literally changed the generals, they changed the pro-Russian people, they changed the people in charge. The Americans say it in the White House right in front of the cameras, corrupted, they say. Because when you interfere too much, then corruption happens. After the Soviet Union, Russia was also pretty much corrupted as well. But Putin was being the strong man. He kind of controlled it to some extent. Right. We're not defending, by the way, Putin or Zelensky. I'm trying to put the whole picture. Before coming back to your question, when I explain it from this other perspective, and from a perspective that people are not used to hear, then some people sometimes feel like I'm taking a side. I'm 100% outside.
Seeing it from a bird's eye view.
Exactly, not biased. Because the media, majority of the people are listening are super biased, that deliberately they show it one-sided stories of the situation, that they're brainwashed to certain things. Then after, you repeatedly, when you hear these things, you start believing that without a question. They ask question to the people on the street in Europe, the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. They have no information. They just say they're against Russia. For what? Why? Russia invaded Ukraine. Why? How it started? Why did it start? Why this country woke up one day and okay, let's invade one country. This Ukraine looks good. Let's do it. It's because they were basically going to put military the threat right next to the Russian border. Let's remember what during the Soviet times, when Soviet Union did it to Cuba, Cuban Missile Crisis. That was a big thing. Joe F. Kennedy. Right. He said then they put where? To Turkey. Yeah, exactly, against the Soviet Union. And then they basically put them down, and then they come to a mutual agreement. But it was almost, the world was almost going into a war, international, massive nuclear conflict. Because, why? Because an independent nation, Cuba, was allowing another nation, Soviet Union, to put their missiles on their island. Then Cuba could say, I have an independence to do what I want. Well, at some point you don't.
Yes.
There are
limits.
There are limits. Yeah. Same for Ukraine. Yeah. Why West, NATO, is desperately pushing Ukraine to join to NATO. Like why? Because when people don't understand this aspect, we'll come back to Maduro, by the way. But
we will.
these are very
good examples.
Yeah, they're very connected. Like if you cannot understand these things without understanding the Gaza-Israeli conflict, this Greenland conflict that is going on right now, the Maduro and this. They're all interconnected. Because then the Trump says, if Netanyahu can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Nothing happens to this guy, so I feel like I can do it as well.
Yes.
Like, long story short, they pushed Ukraine to join to their alliance.
Yes.
And Russia was like, okay, this is too much.
We cannot have a neighboring country be anti-Russia because NATO is anti-Russia.
It's like I give this example to people. It's like they say, yeah, but it's not a threat to you. Threat to then defense to who? Like, why do you need desperately push all that? Put a coup d'état, corrupt the country to the bone, and then put all your military personnel, everything, and then expect me to do nothing? It's like if they have armed Ukraine without Russian interference, actually, like if Russia was just watching all that, then they would have like put the hands right to their throat and like they can choke it any second they want. And like, yeah, but we're not choking. Yeah, but why do you keep your hand right here? Like, I don't want your hand right next to me, right next to my throat like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow that. Yeah. Yes, smaller countries like Venezuela, I mean, they could not fight back because Russia is a bigger military power at their area. Like, again, U.S. is bigger than Russia, but this whole conflict is happening at their background. Therefore, same for Syria. Syria, actually, Russia was defending Assad. And as you can remember, the Western powers, U.S. and Europe, were trying to put down Assad. Assad was able to, I think, fight back 11 years, if I'm not mistaken, some 9+ years. So he, with the support of Russia and a little bit of Iran, Bashar al-Assad, president of Syria, was in power so long. Because, let me remind people, actually, it started with the Arab Spring. In like Libya got down Gaddafi. Yeah, they killed him on the streets of Libya. Look at Libya now. I mean, so sad. So my point is, you interfere and then they show it the situation from one side. I'm just trying to explain it from the other perspectives, other sides that people tend to forget.
Yeah, that's very good. Look, I really like the example you showed: Ukraine, Russia, now Venezuela, U.S.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it's sort of comparable to the Iraqi situation was because they invaded Iraq, saying there were weapons of mass destruction, which there were not.
Yeah.
But really, behind that, they took oil from it. And I also want to, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Vice. It's a movie about the vice president of the U.S. It's an actual movie, Hollywood movie, played by Christian Bale. And it really showcased the motives behind why they chose Iraq to invade and say it was weapons of mass destruction when it was not the case. It was just for oil. Now, in the Venezuelan context, I think it's pretty clear that narco-terrorism is just a facade to say this is the reason we are taking them out, corrupt things and this and that. So we're doing you a favor, Venezuela. We're doing you a favor.
Yeah, what kind of favor? Actually, they just take the oil. Trump said it, by the way. I'm quoting
I'm in
Trump.
The oil business.
Trump said it, by the way. We'll take the oil. That's his sentence. I'm just quoting. We'll take the oil and we will give some, the word some, to Venezuela. And he said, they took our oil. How is it possible that Venezuela, it's like their land, their ground, the territory, that it's American oil, that it's on their land? I mean, would they be so concerned about the people if Venezuela didn't have oil? I mean, come on. Like, even the kids understand this on the street.
Yeah, right.
My point is, yes, they got in to Iraq because of oil. Now they're in Venezuela because of oil. I mean, you don't need to be an expert on this to see that. But the perception, the story that they tell to people is funny. In sociology, there's an effect called sleeper effect. Sleeper effect, they found out during the Second World War. I did my PhD on sociology. So manipulating people were very easy, but they did not know how to do it successfully. During the Second World War, they were spending massive, amazing numbers of money to influence and manipulate the soldiers, because you want to like soldier with the passion going into the battlefield. Like you want to motivate them. How to motivate them? You need to make them hate the enemy. How do you make them hate the enemy? You basically with agitation, you tell them a story. How do you tell a story? Through films. So during the Second World War, they were showing those military films that showing the German side very aggressive, the bad guys. So in a film, they put them to the soldiers in groups to the theaters, and then once they were coming out, those researchers were trying to, before and after the film, they were like trying to understand how much influence they got, like how much they were able to change their perspective against the German, and the films were not successful because the soldiers were going, and they knew that it's a film shown to him to, like, it's a propaganda at the end of the day, so they don't buy it. Even the simplest soldier was not buying it. But this sleeper effect, they call it sleeper because in time, when you continuously keep on seeing that scenario, they pushed into your perception, shown on TV, shown on social media, repeatedly spoken around you. Russia is bad, or Israel didn't do any criminal activities, blah blah, this and that, whatever that is. They keep on saying that.
It becomes knowledge.
Yeah, and then
right?
you say, yeah, Russia is bad. Why? They invaded, but why? Or like, why on 7th of October in Gaza they woke up? Is it like they were living peacefully? One day, Palestinians woke up like, let's kill some our neighboring country. They were in war for so long. They were living in an open air prison. They were like suffered. Like they were literally tortured in daily basis in living standards and everything. That was an open air prison, and they just caught a moment. That's a different topic where I'm not going to go deep into that, but it was actually retaliation. They were just a reaction to the aggressive approach from the other side, and their actually answer was, compared to what they were receiving, is minor. But then they torn down the whole country, Gaza, Palestine. That's
just so sad.
And people don't see that as well, because sleeper effect, again, they show you just one-sided the story from
propaganda, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. Sleeper effect was that they discovered that effect, that one by one, if you repeatedly keep on saying that, people at the end of the day, they believe it. Narco traffic. They say, Venezuela is sending narcotics to U.S. They bombed some little ships, as you remember. In one of them, 11 people died. The other one, 3 people died. But they made big news out of these. They showed it all around the news. Why? Because they wanted people to think that, look,
we're stopping drugs, they're stopping crime.
Yeah, we're defending ourselves. And then when you do that, after some point, people say, yeah, Maduro should be, he deserved that. Well, I mean, look, don't you have criminal activities going on in U.S.? Or in Europe, or in many other countries? Can you really go and imprison the president of that country because he has some criminal people doing some criminal activities? Whether international or not, doesn't matter. I mean, you can't do that. You should not be doing that.
But if the U.S. didn't do it, Russia or China might do it.
Oh my God, he said that actually. So
okay, true. But now, I also wanted to add in one point that we talked about movies, the sleeper effect. Vice was one movie I pointed to. Another series actually called Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Actually, there's an episode where Jack Ryan himself is delivering a lesson, a classroom lesson, and he talks about Venezuela being one of the largest oil reserves in the world. He depicts that on the whiteboard or on the screen. It's to a classroom of students, and only this surfaced after the Venezuelan conflict. And they were trying to say, this episode, from this series, was a way of trying to warn us that something's going to happen to Venezuela because they're sitting on this massive oil reserve.
Same for Iran. We forgot about Iran. Iran is the same. Why do they care so much about Iran? Because, again, oil.
Oil.
Look, there's now actually conflict, the inner conflict, like coup d'etat preparation they supported and so on. And they, who knows, in near future, they will also might intervene in Iran. Why? Because they have oil. There's Congo, massive conflict going on. Nobody talks about it. Why? There's no oil in Congo. If they find some rare earth minerals, then we will start caring about Congo as well. We'll learn the name of the president. We will learn the name of the other group that, because, oh, you Congos are like, yeah, but they've been in conflict for like decades. I was in Uganda not too long ago. I wanted to visit Congo. They were like, yeah, go, bro. Like, no, that's too dangerous. Is same for Sudan. It's like so many conflicts are going on, but we only talk about them if there is petrol.
Exactly.
If there is money.
Exactly. If Venezuela did not sit on these massive oil reserves, they would not even, the US wouldn't even be paying attention to them. But the question is who is controlling the US? That's another question. That's a whole rabbit hole of, because we've already agreed that, okay, this is all to do with oil and money, being in money, but who controls the US? And some speculate that it's actually Israel because of the Rothschilds. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And I wanted to, because we don't really talk about this side of the we talk about news between these countries, why their motive, retaliation here, retaliation there. But who's still funding all this? Who's still setting the agenda?
Whoever you don't want to talk against, that people are scared to talk about, is the person who's taking the decisions. Like in Russia, you can't really talk too much against Putin. So he's the one in charge. He's the big boss there. Yeah. In Turkey, Erdogan, like whatever you tweet against Erdogan, the next day they knock your door and like you're
out.
Yeah, same for celebrities, actors. It happens in Turkey. So freedom of speech in Turkey, as I'm Turkish, so I know it, is not that good. And nowadays we're going down in that sense. But when it comes to U.S., I mean, you remember that for the New York mayor elections, they were asking the potential candidates for the elections in New York. It's a mayor. They're like, are you going to visit Israel? And they were all like, oh, yes, the first thing I'll do, I'll visit Israel and visit Israel. And then one of them said, he's actually the current mayor. He said, why would I? Like, I will respectfully like accept them if they come to, to New York. I'm the mayor of New York. I'm a candidate to become the mayor, and I will serve the citizens of New York. And they were like, so you will not visit Israel? I mean, this is so there's this open lobbying in U.S. that actually they're funded. Openly, by the way.
Of course.
Openly funded.
APAC, I think.
Yeah. And so they really are scared to talk anything against the power. When we say power here, we talked about America's military power. So when you have this muscle, which is military, you go and grab the other president, you go support Ukraine, you tell Russia, oh, if you like bomb this city or that country or this, I'll teach you a lesson. On the other hand, going to the other side of the ocean, telling China not to intervene to Taiwan. And all those, whoever you want, you say the big boss, because you have the muscle. It's like the bully in the classroom. Like nobody wants to mess with that bully. And Trump is now on the top of that control, like controlling all that military power. And just yesterday told to Macron, saying that if you don't come to my terms, I will actually, with my tariffs, I'll put to wine and champagne 200% tariffs, so you'll do it. It's maybe he didn't threaten to bomb Paris, but he didn't. But this is a similar thing, because he has the power, like power, financial, economical power, but military power. And same here, like the lobby, the Jewish lobby in U.S. is pushing them for the Israeli agenda. Why did they bomb Iran? what is it that they can't get along with Iran? Because Iran's potential success of military success doesn't matter what type. In any type of military success or any influence in the region is threat to Israel. Israel is like, yes, the U.S. is the big brother, but Israel is pulling the strings.
The strings.
And they basically, I gave you the example in Ukraine that you change the president, even though I gave the example like 2014, 70-80% of the nation back then was pro-Russian, but by changing one person and corrupting the elites and the top people, and then putting down the generals, ministers, and like influential people, pro-Russian people, you basically, in time, they were able to put the country in a position where they could go to war against their brother nation. It's doable. Zelensky, I don't think that I don't think he's smart. I think he's corrupted, and I think he's not. What he's doing is not the best thing for his own country. Time will show. But actually, he could have agreed with Russia. Actually, at the very beginning, I think it was the second week of the conflict, they were about to come to an agreement, and then what was it? The president of London, the UK president.
Cromer.
No, the old one, but Boris
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson jumped in a plane, came to Kiev for a few hours, and promised them. This is, by the way, it's not a secret information. Everybody knows that. He says, "Oh, keep on fighting. We'll support you." That's why Zelensky felt like the king, because like the whole West, U.S., Ukraine, U.S., Europe, UK is
allies.
Yeah, but they're supporting me. How can I lose this war against this, one country? But it's not. It didn't turn out that way. Now, Trump is not even picking up his calls. He literally says, "Well, it was the Biden's
administration's fault."
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned an interesting point there that the APAC is one of the lobbies. The Super PAC. It's called Super. I think it's categorized as a Super PAC lobbyist group that pays lots of money to I don't know where the money actually goes. It funnels through somewhere, and that money is what's controlling the agenda.
Yeah.
They're a lobbyist group. They can lobby for what you want if you have that amount of money.
Yeah.
It's just like the National Rifle Association, NRA. They fund guns, so they have a big amount of
that easy. It's that simple.
Influence to keep the Second Amendment right, which is the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
Now the question is who's behind all this? Because there's a theory that if you don't have a Rothschild centralized bank, a Rothschild influenced central bank, then let's go to that country and let's create one.
Yeah.
So then once we create one, we now command and conquer.
Yeah.
In a way. Do you buy that theory that it's the Rothschilds behind this?
Look, Rothschild is just one family, but there is definitely a Jewish lobby in US that is controlling everything. In Ukraine, they're also 100% control.
Jews.
Yeah. But I don't like the categorizing it with as Jews or Israeli. I'm really against this. For example, when I talk about Palestinian-Israeli conflict, I don't really buy the scenario where they say it's the religious conflict. It has nothing to do with religion. When I criticize Israeli actions, I don't care about their religion.
No.
I don't care about the Palestinians' religion. If there is someone suffering, if there is injustice, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, by nature and by history, Jewish people were also, during the Second World War, they feel like they're always pushed aside, the people don't want it. Even historically, even way before the Second World War, like 1492, the Jews were kicked out of Spain, they sent them to Turkey, Ottoman Empire. So the Ottoman Empire took them. For 500 years, we still have Jews living in Turkey freely, and they came 500 years ago almost from Spain. And many other scenarios like this. But because they live like this, they feel like, I worked with a lot of Jewish businessmen. I do business setups. I do international trade. I have clients from all nationalities and all countries. I have very good friends from Israel as well, and they are also against this
fiasco.
I don't want to say genocide, but I think it is the right word. Javier Bardem said that let's don't stop killing kids, and they actually blacklisted him. So many celebrities are very afraid to talk against openly. That, even though it's happening right in front of our eyes. Your previous question, you asked who's behind this. Well, when you criticize the country Israel, this has nothing to do with their religion.
It's nothing to do with religion. No.
It's
we're not talking Hanukkah. We're not talking
but this is actually mistake. Like they play with the words. They say
Semitism.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, like, I don't care about your
Jewish religion. Nothing to do.
Yeah, but they take it that way. They play with those words.
Play with that. And it's called playing the race card.
Yes, exactly.
You're racist. All of a sudden, let's talk about racism now, not the actual killing.
My Israeli friends criticize this Netanyahu openly, and they can do that, but I can't. Why? Like, he's allowed to kill children. If I'm not Jewish, I can't criticize the wrongdoing of another country.
Right.
Like, I criticize my own president. I just actually did about the freedom of speech when I spoke about Erdogan.
Yeah.
So I'm Turkish. I criticize Erdogan. I was like, they're so bought into this idea that because, for example, this hostile, this aggressive international, literally in one day, Israel was bombing Gaza, West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon. No, not Jordan, sorry, Lebanon and Syria. 4 countries in one single day. And also Iran as well, the next day. And then they do that, and the world actually said, like, what the heck? Like, how can you just, like, they do it. They don't, like, they for example, even Qatar, by the way, they actually, they killed the Iranian ministers in Qatar.
In Qatar, that was recent.
And they just wake up and like bomb any country that they just feel like bombing, and nothing happens. When something like international tensions goes up, and then the big brother America comes and it's like, yeah, I spoke to Netanyahu, he will not do it again. Like, how is that possible? Then the Russia is like, so I just basically bombed the shit out of Ukraine then. And then Trump says himself, even though he's the one, like, with the, again, threat that he's getting, he defends Israel because he says it openly that he defends. And then maybe he feels like, okay, if Netanyahu can do whatever he wants, why can't I just go and grab Maduro? And then Greenland is mine as well. Oh, by the way, Cuba, I'll take care of you later. And then Mexico, be careful. And he said to the Colombian president that, like, watch your mouth or stuff like that, like as if like a gangster. I mean, bro, like, if you like, this will lead to a World War III. Can't you see that? And this is evident because all these figures are with super high egos. And they're sitting on these massive military power, and they will just start bombing the shit out of each other when it comes to Iran, because Iran will not give up without a fight.
No,
they're just pushing so hard, but Iran is not Iraq. Let's don't forget that.
Of course.
Yes, majority of the Iranians are not happy with the regime, but I mean, when U.S. interferes, Iranians will be like, ho, ho, ho. This is something we handle inside. We don't want outside power.
Anything with the U.S. interfering, there's a profit margin behind it. Why would we interfere? Is it ROI? What's the ROI? Is it ROI feasible? this war, what do we gain? So we sell arms, that's one way of getting it, or oil prices goes up, we take the oil and we, install a Rothschild influenced central bank or bank.
They basically, when they put down the Iranian regime down, then yes, they will take care of the petrol and make money from that, which they started doing in Venezuela, by the way.
Petrodollar.
And then they will push the people to the north, towards Russia and Caucasus, because the Iranians will, in masses, they will be just like happened in Syria. Through Turkey, they went to Europe. Actually, the crisis that is happening in Europe started with the massive immigration from Syria. So when it starts in Iran, they want to push the people to the Caucasus towards Russia and all the regions in Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, to all that territory, because they have a land border, and Iran has a massive population. And when a very bigger conflict starts, because again, it's a national interest of Israel that they don't want any powerful country around them.
No.
Turkey,
otherwise it's a threat to them.
They feel like that, but any country is trying to balance these things pretty much, but Israel is doing in a very aggressive fashion because they don't face any consequences. They literally wake up, bomb 4 countries in a row, nothing happens. Why? Because if something happens with Iran, it was almost going to a bigger conflict. They called the big brother U.S. Trump was threatening, if you bomb it back, and then we will do this, do that. And they actually, they literally bombed with B-52 or whatever that military, the plane. I forgot the name. Anyway, U.S. actually backed up Israel.
Just to see the other side, some Venezuelans were actually celebrating the halt of their ex-president Nicolás Maduro. He apparently caused hyperinflation. He was a corrupted, unelected, or to an extent, unelected president, and people were very unhappy that he was even there in the first place. And when he got ousted from power, they were celebrating. Some were celebrating.
They show you the ones who are celebrating.
Exactly. Do you see a silver lining, like a positive silver lining out of this? Is there some good in this, or is it more bad than good?
Look, they have been sanctioning Venezuela for so long. Of course, they were pushing the narrative of moving out in Maduro, because even though they sit on the biggest oil reserves, they still were not able to sell it. The 90% of their oil reserve petrol buyer was China, and U.S. didn't like it. They needed that. Actually, U.S. really needs the Venezuelan oil as well, even though they have a lot.
They have it all.
Yeah, but still they need it. So they deliberately did this. They prepared this. In years, did sanctions and everything.
I see.
The same for Iran. Now everything that is going on in Iran is Turkey's next door. They have been sanctioning Iran for so long, trying to cripple their economy as well. Look, when the Ukrainian-Russian conflict started, at the second day, they sanctioned Russia with 2,500 different sanctions.
Even froze bank accounts.
Yeah, and they did more to Russia than they have been doing to North Korea.
Oh.
Russia is more sanctioned than North Korea.
Interesting.
Let that sink in. And Russia continues this conflict, but when it came to Palestinian-Israeli conflict, they couldn't even kick out Israel from the Eurovision. How about that? That's a song contest.
Yeah.
Russia was not even allowed to compete at international sports competitions. Nothing like for kids' school competitions. I mean, literally, they banned their visas, banned their bank accounts, banned their companies, their international assets off as a country. They've frozen their assets. So all the oligarchs, all the rich people in the West, they took in a mafia fashion, they took their assets and all companies and everything, And when it came to Israel, like people are seeing this bigotry, like hypocrisy.
Yes.
It's evident.
Yes.
So when you ask who's behind this, I mean, come on, they cannot say anything to Israel, even though actually, by the way, I don't like comparing these two wars because in Gaza, civilians suffered massively. Like that's why the people call it a genocide. Like there are hundreds of videos I have seen with my own eyes where they actually shoot, kill kids. I'm not just saying civilians, but kids, women, like bombing the building from the bottom so that it collapses with the people inside, and they deliberately do these things. And dozens of hundreds of their aerial footage showing that the whole city is torn down. When there's one building left, they deliberately bomb it to tear down as well. And then nothing happens. Like nothing happens. They couldn't even kick them out from the Eurovision. Like, I mean, come on.
The hypocrisy is crazy.
People see that. And then my European friends, yes, they're not presidents or ministers, but general people, they see that. They see that. And then they were like, yeah, you're right. Literally, after this the Greenland conflict, now European leaders started saying that it's time to start talking to Russia. I mean, they were not even talking. Like the other day, I was talking to an American friend here in Dubai. I said, "Yeah, but when when they show you the news, do they show you Putin? Because they show you Zelensky nonstop. They show you their perspective, what they say, their statements, their explanation, how the war is going from their end. But you need to hear the other side as well. For how many seconds did you hear Putin speaking?" She was like, "I don't think so. Like, I don't think that I even hear it. Like, they don't show him." Yeah, they only show it if there's something negative to show about. So how can you come to a conclusion without hearing the other side?
I think the U.S. are still, I would say just as a one-liner, the U.S. are still resentful at Putin, among other things, for hacking their elections. And I think it was quite rightly...
I mean, U.S. is hacking all elections anyway. Like, it's like a power struggle. Maybe they really wanted preferred among the two bads. Trump is better than Hillary.
Yeah.
So it is possible.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you do it for the 100 other countries, evidently, openly. Even the former CIA personnel was openly stating on TV, saying that we interviewed, I think, except 3 countries in Latin America, we interviewed all the other countries several times. Several times. We
don't hear about the U.S. doing it to other countries.
No, we hear it. We know it. There's so many books and history that we know about it. Even the Pixbay in Cuba, when this against Fidel Castro during the JFK's time, the military action they took, and that's one of the few things that JFK was not successful actually. So they did so many things non-stop. I just know the Cuban crisis really well, but there's so many other ones that they were doing it. It's open information that even the CIA personnel is openly stating on TV. So when you do it, it's okay. When another country briefly, still a little bit, maybe 2-3%, he was trying to interview a little bit, it's big news. I mean, well, if you play the mafia game, some other guy will try to do it to you as well.
Let's talk a bit about the international law and hypocrisy. We alluded to it earlier in a bit, talking about how it's not legal to go from your nation to go to a different nation and just bring your police and military without proper procedure. Yeah. Now, how does international law apply? But when the most powerful country in the world has this military, the law somehow does not apply to them. Is that the case?
It is definitely the case, and nothing is going to happen. They even stopped talking about it. Now they just talk about Greenland, and 1 week later they'll start talking about Iran and other conflicts. And so it's like jurisdiction law
doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's just I'm stronger, so what? Like when it comes to a fight, if I can beat your cameraman, I'll be right. If it comes to that, I mean, whoever is stronger, his law, his rules apply. Same here. In the old times it was like this. In the war times it was like this. In business it is like this. Whoever is stronger in terms of, like, if it's business, money-wise. If it's fight, it's muscle. If it's military, then army. So you're stronger, your rules applies. It's during the Second World War the same. There were times that U.S. actually did against international law, but they won the war, so we don't talk about that. Same for UK, same for France, but they were at the winning side.
So therefore, by using these military strikes, going over to their country, is this not an act of war and by definition terrorism?
It is, yes.
It is. Is it not terrorism? Is this not an act of terrorism?
But it's, again, you play with the narrative and you show it according to, like, the game of propaganda. You cannot compete with Western powers like US, UK, because they sleeper effect. They keep on repeating the same thing. At some point, people buy into that, thinking that, okay, Putin is the bad guy, or Israel is the good guy, or I don't know, Iran is bad. They, for example, now they say Iranian leaders are killing civilians. I mean, bro, you went to another country and killed civilians. How about that? I mean, look, again, I just want to, before we finish, I just want to say one thing. I am not taking any side.
No,
I don't like it because I'm just seeing the picture from a wider perspective, from both sides. I speak fluent English, fluent Russian. I travel the world. I read a lot. I've studied a lot. Therefore, I am able to see it from both perspectives. And when I start telling about the other side, people tend to think that I am actually pro something. I'm not pro
anything. We're just having a discussion here.
No, but I am sure that I have been saying so many things that they have never thought about. Like why this war started, that one started, this is going that way.
Yeah.
But because they are pushed into that narrative and they just buy those simple memorized sentences like Ukraine has a right to defend itself.
Right.
Yes, they do, but why do you need to put military personnel of another country against your neighboring country and join you? Why do you have to desperately need to join the NATO?
Yeah, it's like the example of this. The throat. Why do you need your hand right here?
Yeah.
You can be here.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here. I mean, you can be disappeared.
Yeah, or take both sides. You be friends with both sides.
Actually, shake hands. How about?
Yeah, Erdogan is doing that pretty good. Actually, he's not sanctioning Russia. He's actually friends with the NATO and West. So because Turkey is geographically in between West and East, so we're not 100% European. We're not 100% Asian. We're literally in the middle. Like people are also mindset, also historically also. Therefore, he made one of the few things that he did right, that he actually didn't take a side in this conflict. He said, "Okay, you guys keep on fighting if you want to. I'm not going to fight for any side."
Greenland is now the next hot topic, right after Venezuela. Like it's so fast. Should nations who are oil rich now start to raise alarm bells about, oh, we're oil rich now, we have to be very, very careful. We have to up our military defenses. We could be the next target by the US.
Actually, Denmark is their ally. So the Greenland is a part of Denmark. So Denmark is one of the founding actually countries of NATO.
Yeah.
People don't know this actually, but in 1946, U.S. wanted to buy Greenland from Denmark.
Oh.
They didn't accept it. Till then, they have been trying to, they have a military personnel, actually, U.S. has a military personnel.
In Greenland?
In Greenland, according to their agreement, because U.S. has a right to defend Greenland.
Why?
Because it's according to that international agreements that they made right after the pact that they made after the World War II.
Oh.
So, in other words, you're you provide the guarantees of the security of that land, but you're the one who's threatening to invade it. Like you hire a bodyguard, and the bodyguard says, "I'll beat the shit out of you." But you're my bodyguard. I fucking made an agreement with you. Yeah, but I'm the strong guy. So what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You either pay, like I pay you, so I purchase that land from you. You have to sell it to me. or we'll do. Literally, that's what Trump said.
Or just come and invade it.
We have to take it, he says, good or bad. Like you
Otherwise,
decide.
Russia or China will take it.
Yeah. He said that. This is his statement, by the way. Some people will be like confused here. They will think that we're joking.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He really said it, literally.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then he's not leaving any options. Like Macron and all the European leaders were in Europe, but they don't have the military power. You said who's right, who's wrong. Like legal wise, but legally, nobody talks about legal aspect of this anymore. Like who has the power? Like yes, Europe is right. Yes, US has no right to even like pressure them like to sell it or militarily.
Agreed.
Legally speaking, he has no right. You offer something, I want to buy your computer, you don't sell it, so what?
Just take it.
I'll just fight you and take it. And maybe at the end of the fight, I'll give you some money. Or like, okay, thank you for like sending it to me for 100.
Well, I'm dead already.
Like, is it because I'm stronger now? I have a right to purchase your computer. Same. So the law is the power.
So we're about to wrap up because I'm getting too interested. I'm getting very, very passionate here. But we have to wrap up. Final question. Where do we go from here? How can nations
to the World War III?
And
that's where we're going. Actually,
it's a very big concern. Where do we go?
We're joking now, but it is so true, and it is coming. It is really true. Look, Trump has nothing to lose. He doesn't have third term. This is his last term. So he has nothing to scared of. He's not trying to impress anyone. He literally is now 10 times, 100 times more aggressive than his first term. Because when it's your first term, if you want to run for the second term, you try to keep your image.
Keep your image.
You want people to like you.
Exactly.
You don't go too extreme. Some of the things he does and says are for the American interests, it's good maybe, but the way he's doing it is pushing Europe towards Russia and China. Look, literally, Europe is considering the renegotiations with Russia, and they will actually come to an agreement with Russia. Who knows, maybe. This is an extremely unexpected move, by the way. And Putin, 2 days ago, he said, we're open to discussions, we're open to talk. Because for the maybe 10th or 20th time, he said, we're not going to invade Europe. Like, this is not our aim. We just want to stop NATO expanding towards Russia. So no NATO in Ukraine or no NATO in any other countries. The peace is peace. We give you guarantees that there won't be any war with Russia because the big brother is scaring you that, Russia, the big bear is coming, so let me be your bodyguard. They say, well, no threat from me. I'm not a threat to you. Let's be friends. And you stop spending that crazy amounts of money to your military, but try to, actually regulate your own countries.
The question I want to follow up on is how can we, us civilians, protect ourselves? Can we even?
I think we need to educate ourselves more. We should be, let's say, when Zelensky pushes his nation against Russia into this war, never-ending conflict, people dying for no reason. As Trump says, he literally said it in front of cameras, can you win this war? You have no cards, he said. What he means is that, like, you're in a conflict where you cannot win. So why do you push on that? I'm so sad for all those people that are dying also in Gaza, or those civilians, kids, for no reason, and people without, like, not even mentioning them. And elsewhere in Congo, we mentioned all around the world. My point is, they just show you the perspective that they want you to see.
So be more educative about it. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Correct.
And look at two sides of every story. 3 sides, 4 sides. Do not just accept it at face value.
That's why I kept on saying that maybe what I say might sound like I'm taking a side. No, I'm just saying things that you are not used to hear.
One last question before we wrap up. Do you think this is all a stage. This is all a facade. That this is all staged on purpose.
No,
for
but
some hidden agenda we don't know about.
I tell you, of course not. But there are some agreements sometimes going on. Let's say, oh, Russia, you'll take Ukraine's this side.
Exactly. We'll take this. We'll coordinate.
Coordinate, but they're still pushing for their interests. For example, now Russia is saying that now we will take, like they occupied territories, we'll take for sure, they say. But then they will take also this side that they didn't capture. Because they feel like they higher the stakes. Because if you take Maduro now and we close our eyes, because Russia can't really do anything against U.S. in Latin America.
No, it's not their land.
Yeah, they're not their land. They will not be able to do it. But they say, okay, we'll not talk much about it. It happened already. We couldn't prevent happening. So we'll do that. China, okay, you take Taiwan. Okay, Israel, you take Iran with Palestine, and then Iran will take care together. Like, close your eyes. Okay, guys, let's go.
Let's go.
But then while this happening, it's not like they're coordinated or agreed.
Really?
Upon.
I find them to be coordinated.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
It's like a chess. So
yes.
when you
do this move, I do that move.
Exactly. They're all interconnected. So when you move one side, one piece, you actually threaten other ones, but also that other side that you were defending, you leave. So it's a game.
It's a game.
Now Russia gave up Maduro. They had to. They have no choice. Or they either go to war against U.S. or they just let it go. China has been actually, as I said, 90% of the oil reserves were going to China. They were selling it for a low price. Now China needs to purchase more where they can buy it from. Iran is about to go down. Venezuela is gone. So China needs oil. Yes, Russia is supplying, but not enough. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a chess. Then the China will say, okay, what about Taiwan now? Who's going to defend you, little boy?
It's crazy.
I mean, because then they will go to U.S. and say, what you did in Venezuela was against that. So I'm
going to do the same now.
Yeah.
It sets a precedent, giving an example for other presidencies to take example from them, do the same.
That's why I gave the very first example was Netanyahu. Nothing happened to him.
No.
And then the world is about to go crazy.
Wow. We have to leave it there. So many burning questions, but very, very interesting topic. Tanay, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It was a sensitive topic, but you took the risk.
Yes.
You put yourself out here today with me. I really appreciate it. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys. Wow, what an episode that was. Episode 90 of the Traders Brawl podcast was epic. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this insightful. We'll leave all the links in the description so you can check out Tanay, Efe Tanay and Tanay Consulting, his company. Please do get in touch. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Cheers!